Hello everybody, welcome back for another video. Hope you're all doing well and that you're all having an incredible day. Now, today's topic is how to quit your job and retire early. If you've ever watched my other channel, you will know this. I don't like to beat around the bush. I will tell you as honestly as possible. So therefore, get ready for a roller coaster ride because I am not going to be easy on you. If you want to do this, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be honest with everything and everyone other thing around you. Because while this will not be easy, it is entirely doable. I can promise you that right now. It's a matter of changing certain things, thinking differently, and putting all of it together. I'm telling you right now, unless you are in some other planet that I can't even think of, this is entirely doable either within the next 5 to next 10 years. And I know that even sounds ridiculous. And I've seen other YouTube channels talking about this topic as well. Of course, it's a very popular topic. However, the stuff that they say, not to knock it, my own personal opinion, I think a lot of the advice that they give is kind of all over the place. And they tell you to do these things that you probably should not be doing. And it kind of completely throws you off. So the point is, while it is not easy, it's completely doable. The first thing, before anything, this isn't even one of the steps. The first thing you have to do is make sure you either have zero debt or you pay off all of your debt. And there's no compromises around that. It is impossible to quit your job. I mean, unless you want to be broke and not have a house anymore. If you do not get rid of your debt, you have to make sure that you don't owe anybody. You don't plan on owning anybody. You don't have any credit cards. And I mean this in a very specific way. A lot of people, you may have heard the difference between good and bad debt. I myself believe, as I have been investing for the last 10 to 12 years, that all debt in its forms are bad. I don't want to owe anybody. I don't want to have to owe anybody. I don't want to have to owe anybody after 29 days. I don't want to have a credit card to try and raise my credit score. The idea of a credit score is also there for you to think that you need debt to fall back on should you not have any money. Do you need a new house? You need debt. Do you need a new so-and-so? You need debt. All these things, especially when it comes to getting a new car, the monthly things when it comes, I can't remember the name of it right now. Like when it comes to getting a car, pay the monthly fee, pay the monthly this. All this comes down to you owing someone in some sort of way every single month. It's going to be a huge change from where you are currently in your life, in your mind and stuff like that, because you have to understand that all forms of debt in their own way are terrible. While we're not having the discussion of building wealth, and even I think building wealth with debt is also a very big trap, because a lot of times if we end up falling into a stock market crash or some other situation where people can't simply pay off their debt, you're not going to have any choice and you're going to be really bad right now. I was just watching something along with the current situation that's been happening around the world, where this woman said she had been building up her property portfolio for the last couple of years, but she was saying that right now there are tons of people who are not paying her rent, as is to be expected, as people are having a lot of problems right now. And she was saying that she has 14 houses. She was so-and-so age. She was relatively up there in age. 14 houses. And I think only 4 of them are paying rent. And the newscaster was asking her, so how has this affected you? And she's like, terribly, nobody's paying their rent. And I also can't pay my mortgage. She made while her portfolio has grown, these unforeseeable events kind of knock you down. So the only or easiest way for you to be able to make sure that you can do this is to make sure that you have no debt. Pay off your debt before anything. Before anything, this isn't a joke. Pay off all your debt, or make sure that if you have any debt that you pay a little tiny bit, pay completely off, or that you make sure that you do not get into debt in any other way. There are so many other ways to deal with money, grow money, without having to owe anyone. I'm sorry I spent so much time on that. I really have to hammer the point home. I think people don't really understand how much power someone has over you when you owe them money. If you owe somebody money for the next 30 years, there's no way that you're probably going to easily retire over the course of the next 30 years. You have to make sure that all your things are in order and that you owe no one. First step, bam. You have to drop your bad spending habits immediately. I'm not here to baby you. You are not my child. I'm not here to make you feel better about the life choices that you have made. If you have made terrible life choices, it's time to change all of that right now. If you like treating yourself, if you like getting your hair done, if you like getting your toes done, if you like getting your whatever, I don't care what you get done. I don't care if you buy new clothes every season. I don't care if you buy so-and-so. That's not relevant to me in any type of way. You need to understand that these spending habits are not only probably keeping you broke, but going to keep you broke for the rest of your life. I know so many people in my life right now who have no savings, who don't want to have any savings, who go on vacations, who have parties all the time. They go out every single Friday, they go out every single so-and-so. They take them and their kids to go eat, which is also absolutely terrible as well. When you make sure that your kids also grow up having the same exact bad money habits as you, this is a complete no-no. You have to make sure that not only are you taking care of yourself mentally and financially, but you're also doing the exact same thing for your kids. The last thing you need is for by the time your kid's about a good 25, 26, 27 years old and they have terrible money habits, is for them to knock on your door and say, hey, mom, can I sleep on your couch? You're going to get upset with them. You're going to get really, really angry. And then you realize deep down inside it's because you never taught them how to deal with money. You yourself are also bad with money. So you have to kind of get that out of your head as well. It's not easy. It's not easy. And I'm telling you, it's not easy, but it can be done. I was a very materialistic person when I was younger. I can't tell you, every time a new phone came out, I had it. I don't know if you guys know what a sidekick is, the old phone, the little flip one. Whenever there was a new sidekick, I had the new sidekick. When the iPhones came out, when the iPods came out, I had new everything all the time. Whenever there was new clothes in the store, I had to make sure to have it. Whenever Abercrombie had a new season, had a new so-and-so, had a new pair of jeans that had a new hole on the other side of the leg and not the previous one that I had before, I had to buy it. This is just how I was. And you don't realize you're kind of stuck in this habit of like buying these terrible things that you don't really need. You know how many times I've sat back and thought, if I had saved all of that money, 10% of that money, my allowance, all the other stuff that I used to spend on these nonsense things that I didn't even need or really want, the stock portfolio that I could have built up with that money would have been incredible by the time I turned 18, 19, 20. Astronomically incredible. Especially if you're watching this while you're young, you have an opportunity amongst or before other people that you can't even begin to imagine. I'm going to tell you right now, youth is your biggest asset. And even, listen, if you are 30, 35, 40, 45, you're still in the same boat. These younger people may have it a little bit easier because they're younger and they have more time ahead when it comes to saving up money. It is totally doable for all of us. I promise you. Stop your bad spending habits. If you, and it comes down once again. I'm going to be very clear with this. The quicker you want this done, the more you're going to have to squeeze down. If you go out eating 3, 4, 5 times a week, which happens to a lot of people, they go out eating almost every single night, this is going to take you a long time. If you cut down to once a week, just Fridays, you're good. If you can be excessively frugal and cut that out completely and just maybe have a date night once a month with your partner, go out to see your friends once or twice a month as opposed to 25, 20 times the entire month, you're going to do a lot better. This accelerates you saving and retiring the quicker you are able to actually cut down on your bad habits and understand that they are bad habits. You would not believe the amount of people, like I've said this before in other videos, the amount of people who tell me they've had a bad day, they have to buy something. I have a bad so-and-so, I have to get this. I just got money from my job, I'm going to lease a new car. And I'm like, you are going to be so broke when you get older. And the problem is, from what I've seen in my life, these are also the same exact people who end up complaining to you when they figure out that you have money because they don't have money because of whatever. It's just, your bad habits have to stop. Stop treating yourself. You're not a dog. Stop buying stuff you don't need. If you have more than 10 shirts, 10 pairs of jeans, 10 pairs of shorts, 10 pairs of underwear, 10 pairs of socks in your closet, you're probably fine. Like you're good. You don't actually have to buy new clothes. Think of the amount of money that you spend on new clothes every single month, on new shoes, on new stuff for your car, things that you don't need. Especially stop. If you have a car, and you can take the bus to work, you can take the metro, you can take a tram to your job. You know how many people I've seen who have cars and they work about a good 10 blocks away? Cars are $25,000. Why? And it's not even like they're driving on these like crazy vacations, making movies or something like that, like indie movies with their friends. They drive to work, and they come back. Drive to work, they come back. On a Friday, they may drive to a club that they could have also taken a bus or a train or a cab to. Cabs are also fine, so are Ubers. I mean, not taking them excessively, but I'd rather you take an $11 Uber than a $25,000 car that it's just complete nonsense. That money going into any other investment vehicle will completely change your life. You can allocate that about 5 different ways. And over the course of the years, you'll be making an enormous amount of money that you would not have otherwise made, especially the fact that people keep buying cars thinking that they're assets. These things are liabilities. For those of you who don't know what a liability is, the moment you drive your car off the lot, your car starts losing value. That's a liability. You have to pay gas, you have to pay insurance, you got to watch out when you don't want to hit people, you have to not get into accidents, you have to not run red lights. If somebody dings up your car, these are all payments. You got to get it cleaned, you got to get it so-and-so, you got to get it fixed, you got to get new oil. These things add up very, very fast. Moving from the bad spending habits, because I can make an entire video where I just rant and kind of go on about that. Step 2 is to learn more about savings. I can give you guidelines for what to do, but it is imperative that you actually start doing stuff yourself. As far as reading, if you have about a good 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes, I don't care if you're in the bathroom, I don't care if you're walking down the street, listen to a podcast. If you happen to be on the train, bus, airplane, by yourself, download something about financial independence and read about it yourself. You have to learn about it. And I tell you it this way, and I'm going to try and phrase it in this sort of way. I've seen people before wishing, hoping, praying that somehow money falls into their lap, that they want a $7 million this, that they want a $5 million luxury property somewhere in the Bahamas or something like that. And then I sit there and think, I'm like, even if you did get this property, you have no idea how to manage it. You have no idea how to manage money. You have no idea where the money is going to come from to actually pay for the land fees, the land taxes, the HOA, all this other stuff for the property that you're trying to acquire. You have to learn about money. You have to learn about savings, and you have to, yes, develop a savings plan. You need to understand how money works, how to put money away. This happens I've seen my friends before tell me that they were putting money away. I'm putting away $500 a month. And I'm like, that's great. That's absolutely wonderful. 2, 3, 4, 5 months later, how's the savings coming along? Oh, man, the other month I was really down and I needed a new computer. My computer was like a year old. I had to get a new one. And I'm like, okay, that's cool. It used to bother me a lot. It used to make me really angry. When I knew friends or family members who used to kind of sell off, or not sell off, they used to spend all their savings. Doesn't bother me anymore, because I realize I'm not them, they're not me, and it's not my money. I know exactly what I'm doing with my money, and I know exactly the future prospects for my portfolios, exactly where they're going to go. So the most I can do is help. The phrase, you can lead a horse to water, but you can't make it invest. That's exactly, it's also a horse. You can't really make a horse invest. The point is, you have to learn how to save, develop a savings plan. This will be one of the most pertinent things to you, simply because when you know how to save, you'll be able to accelerate it, and you'll know how to start cutting more. I don't want to say cutting corners. You'll realize that you can save more money than you thought before. I mentioned this before in another video on my other channel. One of the most interesting things that kind of really accelerated me into saving and investing was that a couple of years ago, there was this guy, and this isn't relevant as far as what he is investing in. He started investing in gold and silver, and it was because he liked the idea of it. He liked the idea of owning gold. It made him feel like a king. He liked silver because it was less expensive. He could have more of it. He had these huge silver bars. That's not the quickest way to retire. Just giving you the example. He said he realized one day walking down the street, thinking about buying silver, he was like, oh man, I want to get some silver. He walked by a store, went inside of it. I think he got like 3 or 4 candy bars, and he stopped and was like, I don't need these. He's like, I don't really want them either. I'm just buying it because I have extra cash on me. He said all the extra cash that he could figure out, he started selling stuff around his house, so and so. He pushed everything exclusively into silver. I think after about a good 1.5 years or 2 years, he had accumulated $60,000 worth of silver. And that's not even with silver's price going up. It was roughly around the same $12, $13 around this time frame. 2 years. $60,000. If you are able to, that's $30,000 a year, diligently enough, that's $150,000 that you would be able to save and or make from selling things that can go into some other type of passive income vehicle that makes you money every single month and allows you to retire a lot quicker. These things take time. And I wonder where this person is right now. I assume he hasn't stopped. These videos were around 2011, 2012 when I started watching them. I'm pretty sure he at least has a good $250,000 in silver alone. I think he said that the reason for silver, I think he wanted to be able to like literally pass it physically onto his family as he, whatever the case might be in his life. Step 3 on all of this, and this is the easiest, and it'll help you put things into perspective, and I mentioned this before in other videos, is to calculate your monthly expenses. A lot of people believe and they think, and I don't blame you for thinking this way as well, it's just how the human mind works. A lot of people think that in order to retire, you need $15,000 per month. You need $9,000 per month. It seems incredibly daunting to be able to make a passive income portfolio or something else that will allow you to retire. It's going to take me forever to make $9,000 passively per month. What am I supposed to do? However, you don't really need $9,000 per month. You need what your monthly expenses are. If you've seen me ranting in the other videos, your monthly expenses come down to your light, gas, electricity, maybe your water, and food. Bam. And this also is usually, it should be significantly lower than your current paycheck. I.e., once again, if you're making around a good $4,000-5,000 per month, you should be already living in a flat, an apartment, and have monthly costs that range around $1,400 to $1,500. That's how it should be. I am quite shocked, and I say this with the most honesty. I was talking to 2 friends a couple of days ago, asking them how they were doing during this entire worldwide thing that's going on. And we were discussing prices for some reason, i.e. no job, no money, how much are things? And one of them told me, hello, if you're watching, I was gonna say sorry for spreading your information, but no one knows you. One of them told me that her phone bill, her mobile phone bill, was, I think, $350. And I thought there was like a glitch, a sound that I just didn't miss. Like I just didn't hear as she was saying it. The other one told me, she said, yeah, my phone bill is $180. And I was like, 180 what? Dollars, and $350. I understand that things are more expensive in certain parts of the world, especially in the States. However, no. There are a couple of people who I know who live in the States who have phone bills that are maybe $29.99 per month. Or maybe even if you can lower it to $39.99 per month. There's a big difference between $39 and $350. It's these costs that really change things. I think a lot of people try to get these unlimited phone plans. If you call up your service provider and ask them, over the last year, give me a monthly total of how many gigs I was using on my actual plan. You'll be surprised that you're probably only using anywhere from 2 to 7, maybe 8 gigs per month. Your phone plan is unlimited, but if you get one that allows you or allocates you around 10 gigs per month, you'll probably find something for $20. And especially if you are paying or have currently a $120, $140 phone plan, it makes me annoyed when people don't figure out that they can cut costs in this way. That's an extra $1,200 per year that you've already shaved off that can go into some other type of savings. The same exact thing goes with what you would call cable or satellite TV. Not telling you to switch. However, most people, you're outside all day working. You come back home, you watch 1 or 2 TV shows, you fall asleep, and then you wake up and go back to work. Netflix alone is probably fine for you. And I don't mean Netflix, Disney Plus, Amazon, Hulu, Kaboobaloo. I mean, you're probably just fine with Netflix completely. If you miss the news, YouTube. The news channels you follow usually upload. And I mean, that's across the board. It doesn't really matter where you live. If you live in Australia, if you live in France, if you live in somewhere in South America, if you live in the States, Google or YouTube your local news station. They upload the news there as well. What else could you possibly be missing? I'm sure there are certain TV shows, but are those TV shows, first of all, cable is expensive in America. Are you okay with spending $250 per month for cable or satellite TV to watch 3 shows every night? I think you'll be fine without those shows, especially when the shows are in essence also keeping you broke. That's another. So many people have these crazy expenses that they don't even really need to have. Between the cars they don't need, the TV, the phone, the clothes they're buying, the Starbucks, the other meals eating out, you're probably spending thousands extra per year. And then listen, everyone's experience is different. I understand that not everyone is the same. But when we get into that discussion of, oh, I'm broke, I don't have any money, I'm waiting for my paycheck, look at your expenses. You're probably throwing away so much money that doesn't, it's kind of nonsense. And the worst part is, if you don't fix these mistakes now, they're going to follow you for the rest of your life. You're going to end up in a situation where you're going to be 40, 50 something years old and you have the same exact problems. I know somebody, I know she's not watching this right now, who I met years ago. I believe this person is now in her, it's either late 50s or early 60s. She has no money. Last I remember, she was sleeping on people's couches. I don't think you want to be 50 or 60 years old sleeping on people's couches. That's probably the last thing that you want in your life. It's not a good look asking 20, 30-year-olds, hey, can I sleep on your couch? Essentially saying, hey, the last 20, 30 years, I didn't pay attention to my future. And this is where I am right now. It's terrible. You have to think ahead. You have to think of your future. You have to, the fact that you are mathematically able, you can even hate your job or not like your job. And I assume that's going to go on for the next couple of years, especially if you don't like it. That you are mathematically able to quit your job or retire early or soft retire, which I'm going to get into in a bit. And you're not doing it, is nuts. There are people who will never be able to retire at all, ever, in their entire lives. And the fact that you're not taking advantage of this point, right time, and now, and doing it is mind-boggling. Step 4. Yes, I would recommend, heavily recommend, do more research as always. While you are saving and being frugal, start investing. And I would recommend investing in things that are low risk. As far as low risk, I would invest in the stock market. Something completely different. I would not exclusively, while it could help, I would not exclusively invest in cryptocurrencies or try to be a property mogul, especially if you don't have it like that at the moment. I would start investing in learning what blue chip stocks are and also what dividend stocks are. Stocks where you're able to put money into automatically every single month from your paycheck, or you just it takes it automatically from your actual checking or savings account, wherever your money is being held, that give you money every couple of months. It's pretty much, I explained it in another video. If you buy from a company, every 3 months, they'll say, thank you for holding this stock. Here's a percentage of the value of the stock. The more stock that you end up accumulating from said company, the more dividends you will receive every 3 to 4 months from that company. If you're putting in, let's say you find a way to save $500, $600, $700 every single month, shaving off the things that you don't need, and these start going into dividend stocks that give you around 3, 4, 5, 6% every single month, or rather the course of the dividend period, you can then reflip that automatically into the actual stock. So not only are you building up a stock portfolio, but you also find a way to be able to get money every single month from those stocks. And what I meant by soft retire, I think comes down to the next thing as well. With the stocks that you've been investing in for the last 5, 6, 7 or so years, you'll have built up quite a large stock portfolio. Your dividends that you should be receiving from this will be relatively larger than you probably thought a couple of years ago. the aim that you should be having, and I keep using the number 1,500 because it just seems like a lot of the people I know have monthly expenses ranging anywhere from 12 to 1,500. I use 1,500 as a gauge or as an example. If yours is 2,000, 2,500, use the same principle, just kind of add a couple of more numbers. The idea is from stocks, you should be aiming to start seeing a monthly, give or take, dividend of around $500 to $1,000 over the course of a 5 to 10 year period. This covers a huge chunk of your monthly expenses. This also goes to the fact that you are investing in companies that are seeing huge amounts of growth and are going to keep seeing huge amounts of growth, and therefore your money is essentially safe. Please understand that any investment that you make, I don't care if it's crypto, I don't care if it's real estate, I don't care if it's art, has a risky factor to it, and they can go to zero. That's just the risk of the markets. However, the idea is if you go to safer companies, I won't name any names, that have been around for a very long time, that make household items, that are in the food business, that don't seem to be going anywhere anytime soon, your money will be safer and less, you have your money in less risky assets. The other thing, which is step 5, and I have like a question mark next to it, tying into step 4, you should start thinking about how to create a side income or a side hustle that is relatively low weight. And I mean anywhere from not you getting another job. This also will help accelerate your retirement a lot quicker. Doing something online. I recommend this completely across the board. I recommend starting some type of an online business where you're selling something, where you're affiliate selling something in some sort of way, just where you can make enough money on the side to not only be able to help save further, but also have an additional income. I wholeheartedly believe in you being able to get away from the from your employer dependence, as it were. Very nice way of saying it. People rely very heavily on just one job. They have this job. They think everything has to come from this job. If you lose this job, you have nothing. You should start looking into creating an online business that over the next couple, 2-3 years, your goal should be every single month should be to be able to make around a good 500 extra per month from that job over the course of the 3-year period. If you are aiming for the $1,000 per month over the next couple of years from your dividend stocks, that's 1,000. That's the extra 500. Realistically, once you become good at selling, your selling per month will range anywhere from a good 700 to 1,200, 1,500 per month, especially if you get really good at it. And your dividend portfolio will also increase as well. This, after about a good 5, 6, 7 years, you'll be able to retire just off of your side job. And I mean the side job as far as it's better than you having to do a 9 to 5. Your side job will only take about a good hour per day, if anything. So not only are you making money from your dividend stocks, you're also making a good chunk of money that equals your money that you need for your expenses per month to be able to retire while you're still working for an hour. The extra money that you're making from actually the little side job that you have, start pushing that into other investments as well. And that is essentially, yeah. Of course, this varies from person to person. If nothing else, don't assume that you're going to be able to retire in 3 years unless you really hit it hard. 5 years is a very good estimate for you if you have to really stick to it. Don't assume that you're going to do well for a good 3, 4, 5 months saving and saving and saving. You're going to drop off the wagon for about a good 3 months and then pick it back up and go, why am I not doing well? You have to stick to it. And the part that always kind of gets me is, not only am I going to get older, I'm okay with going through the pain of not having nice things for 5, 6, 7 years, knowing that I'll never, ever, 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 ever have to work again. Think of it this way. Would you rather be in pain and not have beautiful, glorious, luxurious things in new cars for 5 years? Or would you rather work for the next 35 years of your life, and then when you turn 65 or 70, because retirement ages are also going up, don't forget about that as well. A lot of the retirement ages around the world range anywhere from 62 to 65. It is widely speculated that these are going to go up as they've been going up for a very long time, and by the time people are in their 30s or going to be in their 60s, their retirement age is going to be around 74. Do you want to work for the next 40 years of your life? The answer is probably no. There's probably one person who was like, I don't mind it. Well, I mean, this channel is probably not for you then, sir and or madam. It's entirely doable. The step 6 is the rinse and repeat. Everything I just told you. There's nothing explicitly difficult about it except for the discipline. It took me about a good 6, 7, 8 months, 8, 9 months to really get focused. Because a lot of times you'll do very well. I'm not expecting you to become a genie overnight. You will have situations where 2, 3 months, you're going to do exceptionally well. At some point, you'll get the texts and the messages from your friends. We're going out. We're going to do so-and-so. We're going to blah, blah, blah. And you realize you spent tons and tons of money trying to keep up with your friends. Think of alternatives. If your friends want to go out to dinner, invite them over to your place for dinner. It's a lot cheaper for you to be able to buy the food and cook for all of your friends than it is for all of you to be able to go out all night. If you want to go out to a bar with your friends, buy 2 bottles of wine, tell them to bring 2 bottles of wine, and come over and you all watch a funny movie or listen to music. I mean, it sounds cheesy, but it works. You save tons of money this way. You don't always have to go out to a club. You don't always have to have these things. And you have to really get out of the mindset that you need nice new things. You don't. You're not an animal. You don't need a treat. You don't need a doggy biscuit because you had a bad day. We all have bad days. Imagine if we all had bad days and we were all just constantly buying stuff, which is also the problem that a lot of people have right now. Because you get into this mentality, well, my friend bought it, I should also buy one. No, I don't care who your friend is. The point is you're trying to retire. You want to make sure that in 5 years, you are on the cusp of retiring. You have everything down packed. And your friends send you that text message, oh, I don't want to go to work today. And you go, well, that's cool for you because I don't have to. This is exactly what you want. I've made it so that I not only work from home, I also have online businesses. I have online passive portfolio, stuff like that, because it took me a while to be able to build it up. But I'm good now. And a lot of other people, I'm sad to say, are not, because you have to have the energy. You have to have the determination. You have to understand. I used to work in retail. I don't like people telling me what to do. I don't like people screaming at me. I had a boss manager one time. My job, I'm not going to name the store, was to stand at the front of the store and to be a greeter and a buyer. So when people left, I said, bye, thanks for coming. Oh, you're awesome, amazing. And as they came in, hello, welcome. Can I help you today? Every person, back and forth. Not only was I doing that, I was folding shirts, I was folding jeans, I was folding this. And it got to the point where I became really good at it. I could fold a whole bunch of stuff and I had one eye over here and one eye over there. And I would say, hey, goodbye. Hey, hello, what's up? What's going on? How's everything? I missed one person. One. The store was 2 levels. The second level wasn't on the same point. It was back a tiny bit and there was like a glass wall right here. So from the second level, you could look down and see what was happening around here. Store's entrance is here. And I had to greet people at the very front of it. I will never forget. I saw this woman leaving. Sure, let her leave. She had no bags. Miss, do I have to say goodbye to you? She walked out of the store. I heard, you didn't say goodbye to that customer. And I remember, I don't know if it was stupidity, but I looked around like, kind of like, where's that voice coming from? I was like, who just saw me not say goodbye to one person? One of the managers was standing up on the thing. And I turned around and looked up and she said, you didn't say bye to that woman. And I said, oh yeah, but she's fine. She's okay. Like she also had no bags. Yeah. But the point is that you have to do so-and-so. And I was like, well, I'm folding shirts. I'm folding jeans. I'm saying hello and I'm saying goodbye to every single human being. I've done pretty well for most of my shift. I can't remember what she said because I think at this point I blacked out. It was something rude. It was something along the lines of, well, do better or something like that. All I remember is touching the thing and I said some expletives. It was along the lines of, I'm doing the best I can. Can you go back and do what you're supposed to be doing? I blah, 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 blah. And I remember all of a sudden I saw heads around the store turning. Not because I had screamed. but because the other workers also had headsets. So everyone heard the back and forth that we were having. And it's at that point that I realized that retail was not for me. I told her I was going to take a break. I didn't take a break. I went downstairs, I clocked out, I got my stuff, and I walked out the back of the store and proceeded to get onto the metro and went home. I remember I was very relaxed that day. I was doing pretty okay. But around nighttime, I had that feeling of dread. I think I woke up around 9 the next morning. My shift was at 8. And I heard my phone ring and I picked it up and it was Miss Lady telling me that I was late for my job. And she was like, "What are you doing?" I thought for half a second telling her that I was sick and I was like, no. I was like, I'm not going back. She screamed, blah, 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 and told me that my check would be in the mail. And that was the last I worked in retail. I don't like working for people, and I'm pretty sure a lot of you don't either. I'm pretty sure a lot of you also have similar stories. You can do it. Don't think that you can't. It's not something impossible. I grew up poor. I didn't grow up with money. I grew up in what you would call, I'm not going to even give it a bad name. I grew up with no money. I remember the eviction notices. I remember the pink slips. I remember coming home, seeing the letter on the door, and not really understanding that we had to leave in about a good 10 days and having to ask family members, "Hey, can we sleep on your couch?" So it was a very real thing for a very long time. I did not grow up with money. No. So I think that's also a driving factor for me as well. And I'm pretty sure a lot of you as well. If you grew up with nothing, you know the value of something, if that kind of makes any sense. I never want to have an employer. I never want to rely on anyone. And I do not ever again want to work in retail, ever. I advise you, if you can, to seek out the help of a financial advisor. Google around, find one in your area. Just talk to one. Have a mini consultation. A consultation should not cost you thousands. I'm just going to tell you that right now. It shouldn't even cost you a couple hundred. It should be under $100 to have a consultation, because they'll be able to work out the numbers with you as well. They'll usually ask you to bring all your documents or your so-and-so, and they will have you sit down. They'll go over the numbers with you, unless you can do this yourself. I say this simply as a lot of people find a lot of these things daunting, and find the numbers sometimes a bit too much for them. They'll go over the numbers with you, go over your monthly living expenses, everything so and so and so. Once again, the fun things are not your living expenses. And you'll be able to go, okay, if you save up this much money per month over the course of 5 to 7 years, you'll be able to retire. It's not difficult. It's just numbers. You can do it. I don't mean to sound cheesy. It's all possible. Completely. I think that's everything that I have to say. I'm looking at the list right now. I'm pretty sure that's everything. You can do it. It won't be easy, but there are tons of other people who have also retired early. The idea of retiring early, I'm sure, gives you shivers down your spine, but like the good shivers, not the bad shivers. Because it's something that a lot of people, I can't talk for everybody, wants to work for anybody forever, or wants to work forever. Can you imagine being 80 years old, still working in retail, or in a supermarket, or sitting behind a desk with a headset on you? It doesn't sound like fun. And even if you can soft retire, even if you can have money coming from dividend stocks and working just 1 to 2 hours per day on an online business, that's still totally fine. If I missed anything, if there's anything that you would like to know more about, tell me in the comment section below. I do hope that you all enjoyed. Hope that I helped. Hope you all are having a great day, a great morning, a great afternoon, a great evening, wherever you are, wherever you might be. I do hope that it's absolutely fantastic. Thank you all once again for watching, and I will most certainly be talking to you all soon.